r/scare stories. Posted by u/tinidemon. I work in a morgue. Knock knock. So I started working for a morgue, and needless to say I experience a lot of things. At first I would chalk up a few things to my nerves, as I was new to the building at that point, or just being tired. I can get calls to pick up a body at any time. But as I started to get a hang of things and got used to the normal sounds the building makes, like the sound of the AC unit in the big freezer and so on, I would notice random sounds that shouldn't be hearing. Like the sound of the drawers opening and closing as the pens would roll in them, or the sound of tapping or walking. The most unnerving thing that has ever happened to me was when I just finished putting a body in the freezer and was about to set the alarm and lock up to leave. It was around 3:50 a.m. and the entire time I was there I kept hearing the sounds of walking and shuffling. It can happen every now and then. As I set the alarm and start walking out the door, I suddenly hear footsteps in the hallway running towards my back. I quickly turn my head and try to look in the crack of the door before it closes and see nothing, but I'm smacked with a cold energy once the door closes in my face. It was startling, and I stayed up for a little bit after I got home. I didn't experience much after that for a few days. So this happened to me a while ago, but it's a story I tell around to my friends and family. It was probably 11 p.m. or 12 when I finally got back from a long drive back from a case. I was tired and wanted to hurry and put this body away and go back home. While in the freezer I see it's pretty empty that night, meaning funeral homes came and took some away. And there was only about 7 bodies. Only one was a newly brought in body. The others were there post-autopsy waiting to be picked up. Being that a lot of bodies had been picked up meant there were a lot of empty metal autopsy tables in the freezer. I put the body onto the metal table and begin to turn it around to put it in the new arrival section. The tables can be a bit hard to steer, and I turn the table too quickly, banging it into 2 other empty metal tables. I'm sorry. I turn around and see the other new arrival body. I look around and there's no one else in this freezer alive but me. I quickly, but more carefully this time, put the body in the section and get out of there. I felt bad I had disturbed their sleep. 8:13 p.m. I just finished another case and put the body in the freezer. I had to finish writing my report for the body, when I heard faint scratching. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I didn't know where it was coming from, but I could hear it near me. I look around the shelves and under my desk. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I can hear it but I can't see it. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I'm tired from a busy day and slam my file on the desk and yell enough. The scratching stops. Finally. In slamming my file on my desk I knock some papers on the ground. It's my transport sheets. I only have 2 left, and decided to make some copies since I just finished a case. I have to walk by the freezer to get to the main hallway to the copy room. I look at the freezer door, which has a little window to see inside it. I notice the light is still on. I must have forgotten to turn it off. So I do and continue to the copy room. I'm finished and am walking back when I notice the light is turned on again. From the outside. There's only one switch and it's on the outside. I know I turned it off. But I'm tired and don't care. As I walk to the freezer door to flip the light switch off, I hear it again. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I turn the freezer light off and notice that the hall light catches on the freezer window. Finger marks. So I meant to post about this incident a bit ago, but I was busy and had a lot of cases. Anyways, let me start this post by stating that I'm from a small town. That being said, that also means our morgue is a bit smaller than the bigger towns near us. But ours is right near the county lines of 2 other counties, so we can end up handling in total 3 counties worth of deaths. We only have 3 doctors, each with their own offices next to each other's. In order to avoid annoying the doctors whenever someone knocks on their doors, we agreed on the number knocking system. First door gets a slightly harder first knock, the second gets 2 knocks, and the third gets 3. Now to the incident. It was another busy night of overdoses and I arrived back to the morgue with an OD case, and it was about 5 in the morning. As I arrived, the organ collectors were leaving. I had just put the body away and was grabbing some supplies from the office closet when I heard a loud knock. I jumped and dropped some things. I look around and pause. I don't hear anything, so I pick up my things and then it happens again. Knock. Another singular loud knock. I walk out of the office to the main hallway with everyone's doors in view. Nothing. Nobody's there. I grab what I needed and start walking down the hall. I pass the first and second doctor's offices and then it happens. Knock. I turn around and walk to the first doctor's office. I knock thinking maybe, just maybe, he's in his room starting early. I'm about to open the door, then suddenly I hear 3 knocks. I hurry to the third door. I open it and nothing. Then the second door knocks, then the first again, the third again, and then the back door opens. I yell fuck. I'm startled by the first doctor who seems annoyed. I've just yelled at him. I apologize, and he looks me up and down. Easy on the caffeine, it'll help with those jitters. He walks into his office and I feel like my heart was about to snap from the scare. I can only take so much when I'm tired. Okay, so I've had a lot more things happen to me and I honestly feel like I'm getting on edge. We've had a lot of deaths from overdoses and the morgue has been full to the point we've had to bring out the 2-level metal tables. It's the same height as the regular body tables but with an extra slab underneath. Well, to start off this situation I got another late call, of course. It was someone who decided that if their lover wouldn't stay with them, that they would threaten to kill themselves. Well, they succeeded. I was told they would constantly bluff and tell their partner this just so they would have to stay together. But they bought some bad drugs laced with something and got drunk and took the pills. Normally this wouldn't have killed them but they were laced and his bluff was called. Here's the thing, he knew something was off and ran to his neighbors and banged on the door. But no one heard him and he died on their door. The neighbor's kid came home late and found the body on their doorstep. So I arrived on scene, was told about the situation and grabbed the body and headed off to the office. Sometime into the drive I hear sounds from the back of the van. I just figured some things had fallen off my shelf as it happens from time to time. But then I heard it again, only this time it was the sound of a knock. Knock knock. I was utterly stunned and I pulled over. I ran to the back of the van and opened the doors, only to find the body was still strapped in and everything on the shelf was still in place. My heart was thumping and I just closed the doors and got back inside the van. I started to drive again and it was quiet. Like ear-ringing quiet. I said out loud, "Get back." The silence broke and I realized I was arriving at the office. Thank fuck. I pull into the garage and unlock the door, but the hallway is silent. My ears start to ring again. And you know what broke the ringing silence? A fucking knock knock on the door behind me. I slam the door open and there's no one. Absolutely no one. Not a fucking soul. I'm shook at this point. I close the door and go into my office. I'm finishing the paperwork and hear more knocking. It's faint. But it's not stopping. Knock 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 knock. I'm about to cry because I know I'm the only one here. But I for some reason get up and follow the knocking, all the way to the garage. I open the van doors, the knocking stops. This thought that he knocked on the door and no one came popped into my head. Okay, I get it. I won't leave you alone out here. I bring this body into the morgue and have him in eyesight while I finish my papers. Not a single knock. I finish up and say out loud, "I have to put you in this other room now, but you won't be alone, okay?" I put him in this crowded freezer on the bottom level of a metal slab. I feel sadness and regret. Like I know these weren't my feelings but I could feel them. I walk out and close the freezer door, locking it. I turn around to walk out. Knock knock. I pause. Stunned. I set the alarm and walk out. That was the last knock I heard that night.